My name is Dennis Paul and I am a business coach. The name of the company, their franchise, is Action Coach. We're the world's largest business coaching company. Essentially what I'm looking for is the opportunity to network with fellow business owners and to find out what challenges they face in 2010 and going forward and how I can assist and help them.
My name is Michel Lalleran and I'm the event director for the Business Growth Show. My business is a business-to-business networking event and exhibition, and our concern is to make sure that the businesses, the people who exhibit at our show and the people who come as well to our show benefit from the networking experience. It's quite an interesting event, and following the election as well, I'm really concerned to understand where the economy is going, because it's in fact my business.
My name's Jane Stanley and I'm from the Placement and Career Centre at Brunel University. This is actually my first Insight meeting, although I come to lots of the Junction 6 meetings, so partly it's networking, but it's partly to hear what speakers got to say as well. At the Placement and Career Centre we work with employers all the time, so at the moment we're particularly keen to talk to people about work experience, because we've got some programmes of subsidised internships where small businesses can take a student or graduate and get a subsidy towards their salary. And obviously in the current climate, students are desperate to get work experience. But we've also got all of our graduates just emerging from university. We've got our recruitment fair next week on May the 17th. So we've got 2,500 to 3,000 students emerging from Brunel, many of whom will be looking for work in the local area. They can either contact me directly, Jane Stanley, very simple email address, jane.stanley@brunel.ac.uk, or they can go to our website and there's an employers section on that tells them exactly what to do if they want to get in touch with us. Everything's free, advertising vacancies and so on, and we're always very happy to help people.
I'm the Business Development Manager at the Copthorne Slough Windsor and Millennium Hotel Group. Probably the biggest thing for us is that there's a lot more competition out there, but also the market changes quite quickly at the moment. We're finding there's a lot of short lead times as well for events and business decisions. So it's pretty much constantly staying on top of that, keeping in contact with our clients and obviously being flexible.
My name's Lucy Barrett and I'm from W&B Mortgage Solutions. We're a mortgage brokerage in Burnham, Buckinghamshire. We just offer mortgages from the whole market, for residential and commercial. It's been a really tough couple of years. The banks, despite the messages going out in the press, the banks still aren't lending anywhere near to what they were lending a couple of years ago. Mortgage finance is a lot harder to come by, especially for small businesses, and really we're just trying to help our clients come across mortgages where they might not be able to do so themselves. I'm just interested to hear what the economist is going to have to say with regards to the market over the next year, because it's obviously changed a lot, and really it's just trying to work out where we're going to go from here and how he feels the market's going to change.
Suffice to say that being that we are at the home of racing, it's good to think about this, what's going on in a racing context. So there you go, that's one we made yesterday in the back at the ranch. And you can see the Conservative horse firmly in the lead, ridden by Mr. D. Cameron, trained by sundry spin doctors, owned by Mr. M. Ashcroft of Belize, and sundry others. Trailing a long way behind is the Labour horse, ridden by a rather grumpy Mr. G. Brown, who's whipping the horse somewhat hard. Trained by Mr. P. Mandelson, owned by the Beer and Sandwiches Consortium. But the Conservative horse isn't going to make it to the line on its own. It's going to need some help. Now, all that chart shows you is that hung parliaments have happened before. The sky has not fallen in. Now, what we can say about them from history, can we say anything useful? First thing to say is that on only one of those occasions, in 1923, was the government eventually formed by the party that came second. The Liberals, therefore, will need to think very, very hard about supporting the party that came second. We cannot but sit back and take stock of where we were just over a year ago and where we are today. I mean, most people at the end of 2008 would have thought it would have thought it a little bit unlikely that we'd have reasonable recoveries underway by the opening months of 2010. Because even though we've known about Asian tigers and all this and Indian elephants for a very long time, never before have they had sufficient clout to actually be the driving force that pulls the world out of recession and into recovery. This time they have. This recovery is not being driven by Europe, certainly not being driven by Europe, Japan or North America. It's being driven by the large emerging economies, not just China and India, but the likes of Brazil, Russia, Indonesia, Turkey, South Africa, Saudi Arabia and one or two others I've forgotten. Our position wasn't at all bad, but Greece's was. It's not only did it run large deficits, but it had persistently large deficits and a large burden of debt that was becoming increasingly expensive to service. The same would go for Italy and to a lesser extent for Portugal. And the numbers in 10 years' time will not be what you thought they were today. This is a hard lesson that anyone who's been in economics for a long time has had to learn. Don't trust them. They don't always give you a picture of where you really are. A lot of the foreign competition has walked out of this market. A lot of the secondary competitors, the people that would have done you consumer finance off the back of furniture showrooms, the people would have done you second-hand car finance, the people would have done you buy-to-let mortgages. A lot of them shut up shop and went. A lot will depend on how quickly they come back, those and the foreign competitors. What I think we're going to really need to do is to get to grips with creating the climate, be it tax incentives or whatever, that will get businesses to invest capacity in this country.